Hello guys, I've been using a flip phone for about 2 years now, and I've learned a lot, and I just wanted to share some of the tips and tricks that I've learned in case you are thinking about going to a dumb phone. And first I'll say that the reason that I went to a dumb phone is the same reason that most people do. It's trying to cut back from our bad habits and just not being so consumed by technology these days, and also being free from just how the world expects you to operate or function, I guess, and live more freely. And I've found that in many cases it has helped me to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to go about the pros and cons of using a dumb phone and what I've learned in that regard. So one pro is that you're free from the world, in the sense like you don't have to. I feel like the world expects you, like your friends, your family, and the people around you expect you to act a certain way, and it's kind of nice to break free from that and feel like the world doesn't have control over you, I guess. And it's nice to feel a little bit more free in that aspect. And another thing it's helped me do is it's helped me become a better driver. I did not realize how lacking I was in regard to navigating around as I'm driving, because I'm so used to using Google Maps. I had Google Maps even when I was learning how to drive, so I never realized how much I was missing out on. And I've learned better how to read signs and to watch out for things and to um, pay more attention on the road, and so it's helped me in that regard. Another pro is that it's helped my overall productivity. As someone who goes to school online, I really need to have good self discipline and organize my time correctly. And it helps not to be tempted to just watch a bunch of YouTube videos or Netflix and actually make time for my work and not feel um, so distracted by technology and its endless amount of entertainment. Another pro is that a lot of these dumb phones nowadays have an operating system called, I think, KaiOS, and it's kind of nice. It's a nice in between for someone who's thinking about cutting back on the smartphone, because it does have features like Google Maps, and um, that helps. It's not as good as a typical smartphone Google Maps. Typically, you'll turn your search in a location and ask for directions, and you have to like press next to follow the path. It's not like it doesn't follow you and track you along and tell you where to go next. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it is a nice in between if you feel like you don't want to just have a flip phone with no information and you just feel like you're lost in the world and you have no way of going back to where you're trying to go. So it is good in between. And some of the cons that I've noticed is that I've actually seen people get upset by this, which is kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting that so many people would have negative feelings about this, whether it's my family or coworkers or friends. Um, I I don't know what the reason is exactly for it, but yeah, they treat it as though it's not a good way to function in society, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I just don't know why they are so offended by the fact that I have a flip phone. Some people are absolutely thrilled, don't get me wrong, and I was expecting that when you go out in public with a flip phone that everyone would be freaking out one way or another, and the reality is most people don't care. Um, but yeah, sometimes people are upset by it, and I just don't understand exactly why. Another con is that it did not necessarily fix my bad habits. If if we want it bad enough, we will get on our phones. We will find a way to YouTube and social media and just spend hours of our time on there, even with the flip phone. And that's what I found is like the flip phone did not necessarily fix that issue. It helped with some things, but it did not help me completely kick the hours that I was spending on technology. Um, Another con is that texting can be very rough. I will say, however, some flip phones have predictive texting, which is a lot easier than and a lot faster than just using T9. And I found that to be very productive in trying to text better. And you do get better over time. It's just like it's not that big of a deal if it's a small text every now and then, but if you are constantly texting, then it is a very frustrating process, and that can be annoying. But it also can be good because maybe you need a break from texting. I don't know. Um, and then one of the bigger cons is that like most flip phones nowadays are just not that great quality. And what I mean by this is nowadays a lot of flip phones or dumb phones are made of like a hard plastic, and it's not the greatest quality in all honesty. Like one of my phones, I feel like I could just snap in half and that would be the end of it. It almost feels more like a toy than a tool or a phone. Like, and so that's kind of one big con. And then I also want to go down a list of some of the phones that I've used and reviewed. A few I don't have anymore because I had to send them back because they were trash. One of those was probably like that Alcatel, I think it was the Go Flip 5, and I really liked the design of it, and it had KaiOS, and it was very helpful. For that was the first phone that I tried. That was a flip phone, and I really enjoyed it, but there was some problem with the power where it kept shutting off mid call, and that was very frustrating. And it did not. I had to send it back. It did not work. Another one that I hear a lot of people want to try is the Cat S22, but I was not thrilled with that because it was essentially like a really bad version of a smartphone, and it was very hard to text, and it was touchscreen, but on a flip phone, like it was not worth it to me. It just did not do as good as I thought it was gonna do, and I honestly don't recommend that as an option. Another phone, this is the one I have used the most, probably the Nokia 6300. This phone is really good. Like, I would say this is one of the best phones that I've gone to that's a dumb phone, but there are a few major problems. Like I said, this is one of the phones that you feel like you could just snap in half, and it's just not that durable. And I've known some other YouTubers talk about this, but with this phone, I found that the buttons they stick, and like sometimes you'll press like A and it'll go directly to C, and it's very frustrating to try to text on this. I'm not sure why it does that, but other people have experienced this as well, so I think it's just an issue with this phone. Another thing that I haven't heard people talk about with this phone is that if you leave, because it's not a flip phone and it's open access, if you leave it in your pocket and accidentally hit one of these buttons, it's the camera button, and it'll open the camera, and then it will just destroy your phone's battery and also take a lot of screenshots, and it's super annoying. That's been one of the biggest issues I've had with that phone is I'll just look at it and the battery is just completely tanked. This is a Plum Flipper. This phone is pretty good, except it doesn't have KaiOS, and I found that that is very difficult to go to when you're used to using a smartphone, is not having any apps. Like I know some of them have WhatsApp as well. This is literally just phone and texting, and it does good, but I realized that I was not quite ready for it. I still rely on Google Maps quite a bit, and so it was hard to have that. And then another phone that I recommend, this is one that I really like actually, it's the Verizon Kyocera. And it is extremely rugged, extremely durable, and a very good quality phone. By far the best quality. The only thing with this, once again, is it doesn't have KaiOS, and because of that, it is very difficult to transition from a smartphone to a flip phone for this reason. But if you do not care about Google Maps or anything like that, and you literally just want a phone for calling and texting, I highly recommend the Kyocera. Okay, and then the next phone, this is the most recent phone that I got. This is the Nokia 2780 Flip, and this phone is relatively good so far. I only got it about a week ago. The reason I got it is because I love the Nokia 6300, other than the fact that it kept destroying the battery while I was in my pocket. So I decided to get the flip phone version of it, and so far it's been great. But I guess time will tell on that. But anyways, I hope this helps. If you are interested in getting a flip phone, I highly recommend you give it a shot and just kind of detox your life a little bit. I've found it to be a great experiment, and I hope it works out for you. Thanks for watching.